Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. This is my summer series. We're going to be doing a series of short 10-minute or thereabouts videos looking at placements of planets in the 7th house. Now everybody's very intrigued by the 7th house because the 7th house correlates to other people and their role in our lives. It correlates to our marriage partners. It correlates to business partners. And when I say marriage partners, stepping back a little here, it correlates to people we commit to. So there's usually a written agreement or a contractual agreement, such as you buy a house together, you buy a car together, you open a bank account together, or you sign a marriage certificate together. These are the committed contractual agreements we see in the 7th house. So that is business partnerships, but it's also any committed type of personal relationships as well. Clients are also these contractual type of partnerships too. Someone pays you some money, they've therefore entered into a contract with you to provide a service as well. So these are the kind of realms governed by the 7th house, and of course they make a big difference and a big impact on how our lives unfold. So this summer, thanks for joining me, we're going to be exploring every Sunday for 10 minutes what it means to have one of these planets in the 7th house. So check out your chart. You can do so at astro.com, where you can bring up a chart, and in whole sign astrology you'll be looking for the house that sits exactly opposite your AC ascendant, and it will always have the DC point in it. The written letters DC will fall in your 7th house in whole sign astrology. So look for that DC, that's the descendant degree, and whatever sign that falls in is your 7th house in whole sign astrology. So let's get stuck into what it means to have Venus in your 7th house. So Venus, as the name implies, she was the goddess of love. She's the goddess of beauty, and these are the things that Venus rules. Love, rules beauty, rules young women as well, and that youthful, beautiful, pure energy of the young maiden. So here in the 7th house, that's what she represents. You know, you will end up with, even if you're a woman, you will likely to end up with a beautiful partner, someone very attractive looking, someone very charming that has not a feminine quality about them, but just a beautiful nature or a beautiful face or a beautiful appearance. Very attractive partners are seen when we have Venus in the 7th house. Venus also rules the sign of Libra, which is about equality and balance. And Libra is also correlated with the 7th house of relationships. And of course, Venus rules relationships. Now, Venus, because it rules Libra, also likes balanced relationships that are harmonious, that are about equality and fairness, the same things that are correlated to the sign of Libra, which Venus rules. It's also a sociable energy, the energy of Venus here in the 7th house. You will enjoy being out in beautiful surroundings with other people in friendly circumstances, enjoying pleasures that are very refined, very sophisticated, art galleries, that sort of thing, fine restaurants, perhaps shopping in some lovely little quaint shopping strip with lovely boutiques and that sort of stuff. This will bring you a lot of joy and bring you a lot of pleasure, and you will enjoy doing those sorts of activities with your partner, doing pleasurable activities with your partner. As such, Venus rules those things. Now, the 7th house is the house of how people perceive you. Hence, it rules your audience, as well as your clients and business partners and marriage partners. So by getting married, you can improve your social status. People might suddenly perceive you as being somebody who is very beautiful, as being somebody who is very appealing, very attractive in some way. That might be personality-wise or charisma-wise, or it might even relate to how you physically appear. You might actually become more beautiful through getting married, or through having some sort of committed partnership, or collaborating with someone in a business sense. Through doing so, they might bring out your inner beauty, your more beautiful side. So being in relationship is very good for enhancing your beauty. Venus in the 7th house. Now, because of Venus rules sensuality, it can bring a great deal of sensuality to your relationships and a fabulous sex life. Now, it may not bring a great depth to the intimacy that you have, but it can bring a lot of pleasure because Venus rules pleasure. Partnership can also be based on Venusian things. When you partner with someone, it might be for wealth, it might be for money, it might be for pleasure. So that can be good or bad depending on your moral stance on that sort of thing. But you may find that you will marry for money when you have Venus in the 7th house. Not always, but it is one of the indicators that we can see in people who do so. Essentially, you want somebody to give you the luxuries of life, the pleasures of life, the indulgences of life, the beauty of life, which we often get through having money. So that's why Venus here can result in people marrying for the finer things of life rather than necessarily for love. But keep in mind, Venus is the planet of love, so it is equally able to provide you with relationships where love is the central theme. Venus really likes to be in the 7th house. After all, it rules Libra, the 7th house sign. So there is this connection here, and Venus is comfortable in the 7th house. Also depends on what aspects and what dignity, but as a planet in a house, it's very good in the 7th house. And you are likely to enjoy your relationships. You are likely to enjoy your partnerships. You're likely to enjoy your connections with other people and with your audience and with your clients and business partners, because Venus is to enjoy, Venus is to delight in, Venus is to have pleasure. It's a signature that can actually make us quite skillful in negotiating and creating business and trade agreements with people, in advising, in counseling, in being diplomatic or functioning in sort of negotiation careers, because Venus will give us this really delightful demeanor that will work well in these kind of diplomatic situations that require a good, pleasurable personality, a good, pleasurable interaction with others. And you have this in bucket loads when you've got Venus in the 7th house. Now, Venus is also where we choose to spend our money. So if you look at where Venus sits in your chart, generally, those of you who do not have it in the 7th house, it's going to tell you where you like to spend your money. People with Venus in the 7th house are going to look to spend their money on relationships and partnerships, but also they're going to look to spend their money on refined cultural experiences. This is the house of the sophisticated experiences, going to a gallery exhibition or going to a fashion show. These sorts of things are where you'll look to spend your money and delight in spending your money. You'll find pleasure in spending your money on those things. Also, you can spend money on consultations with professionals, which is also something that's seen from the 7th house. Similarly, Venus also represents where we can make money. It's just one of the signatures in this regard. We can make money through a lot of various places that we would look for in a chart, and this is one of them, the placement of Venus, where you will make money. And so you can make money through sophisticated, pleasurable endeavors. Maybe you own the art gallery that is having the exhibition. Maybe you are the fashion designer who is putting on the fashion show. So any type of refined artistic cultural expressions are places you can make money, but also collaborating with others is a way you can make money as well. So, going in cahoots with someone in some design label, or I think of Trini and Susanna. They've made money through fashion. I don't know what their charts are like, I've got to say, but they've made money through fashion and through a collaborative endeavor, the two of them, those of you who know who Trini and Susanna are. So that's one example of Venus in the 7th house working in partnership with beautiful things and fashion, which Venus rules. Now, Venus also rules young women, as I said in the intro to this, and you might end up partnering in business with young women in some way, especially in the beauty industries. So this could be in, like I just said, with Trini and Susanna, in fashion, in design, in, beauty therapy, makeup, hair, those sorts of things, costume design, anything that requires a beautiful, artistic and sophisticated eye. And it's in those realms that you might tend to partner with women, but also just in business in general. This is a house of business. The 7th house correlates to business partnerships and the collaborations you'll make in a business sense. And that is where you might find connections with women predominate. Quite beautifully in Vedic astrology, The seventh house makes Venus in the seventh house rather makes a full aspect to the first house, so you might be very beautiful as well when you have Venus in the seventh house. It doesn't just mean that your partner's going to be gorgeous and you'll be the ugly duckling, you know, whacked with the ugly stick. Not at all. Venus makes a full aspect in Vedic astrology to the first house, and that will in turn make you very appealing, very attractive, and very beautiful when you have Venus in this placement. Yay! So thanks for joining me to explore what it means to have Venus in the seventh house. I hope you'll join me next week when we take a look at Mars in the seventh house. Catch you then.